Oh, Rasuke here. Salutations. And we got some salty, sour people over at Microsoft and Blizzard. So, what are they mad about? What are they mad about? Well, it turns out former Blizzard boss Mike Ybarra has criticized Marvel Rivals in his new post on X, suggesting that the game is a copy of Overwatch despite all the other ones that are out there. See, you know you're pushing buttons if you got to come out and put it out on X. He specifically takes aim at the newly announced Black Widow, who he compares to the Talon Blue Skin Beauty Widowmaker. Yeah, and it's just news and news. Look at this. It's all there. Look, harsh words for Marvel Rivals, ex-Blizzard president. You know, he now works for Microsoft and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's got to put his 2 cents. Let's see what he says here. And before we even continue with this, Jesus Christ, Overwatch is dead. This is the Overwatch killer as far as I'm concerned. And Black Widow, it's probably been around, I think she's been around like at least 50 years. I think she's like my age. But I'm not for sure about that, but I do know for a fact she's older than Overwatch. So let's go. Ex-Blizzard boss slams Marvel Rivals. Yeah. Because of Black Widow. Oh my God, this guy. A lot of parallels and stuff like that. Compares through. Oh, here we go. Right here, people. Check this out. This paragraph right here. There's just one problem. Black Widow is a Marvel character with 60 years. Take that, Mike Ybarra. 60 years of history behind her. Why didn't you look this up? See, this is the problem with you guys now. All it takes is like 3 minutes to Google this. But no, you couldn't shut up. You couldn't do any research. You couldn't do game development like you're supposed to do. Now you're owned by Xbox. And now you see that your precious, precious Overwatch is about to be overdone. You know what I'm saying? Not only has she appeared in countless MCU movies, but she has made her comic book debut way back in 1964. Damn, she is older than me. I thought it was about 50 years. Marvel Rivals has some obvious similarities with Overwatch, but this is probably not the one you should use, and I would agree with that. And stuff like that. Oh, here's the post right here. So let's see. There he is, Mike Ybarra. Looks like Overwatch. Marvel Rivals ships tomorrow, much like Light of the Mortaram, a clear copy of HZD out of China. I mean, even the character name Widowmaker in Overwatch versus Black Widow. Like he didn't know that. Like oh, you're copying our game, even the name. And she got 60 years on you, dude. If anything, Black Widow, the whole of Overwatch is copying Marvel, right? It's probably even copying DC, and we're going to get to DC in a minute, but yeah. And readers have had a context, and yeah, and here it is again. More than 50 years before Overwatch were created. You know what, Microsoft? You know what, Blizzard? Hold this L. Hold this big, big L. And tomorrow, which is probably today for you, those of you who have been playing Marvel Rivals, your arms hurt, your fingers are tense, you're probably taking a little break and you decided to check social media and you stumble across this. This is how you see that Overwatch is just overdone. It's over with, man. And I can tell that I'm going to like this game. Just like I knew I would like Overwatch. It went from like to love, and from love to pure unadulterated hate to, get this, I even want to call out some things that I feel are even just kind of racist, to be truthfully honest. I know that's like, what? Maybe I'll do a video on that someday. But really, yeah, they're trying to put out there he is. Just gotta throw some shade because they feel the pressure. They know that people are going to leave their precious Overwatch. So anyway, let's go into the next thing I want to talk about, which is DC. Now, this next story, I just want to say it's done by It's Z. What should a DC Rivals roster look like? How about no? How about that? Not to throw any shade. You can see the video itself. It's right there. You could type it in. There it is. There. I did watch the whole thing. It's 18 minutes. I don't mind, listening to long videos because I'm doing other things that's just playing in the background. But, he did make some arguments and things like that. But how about no on DC Rival? DC needs to do their own thing. DC has problems. And so I want to shoot down this idea of a DC Rivals heroic or hero shooter. Let's get into it, because no. So first off, let's say this. The most popular is going to be Justice League characters and that sort of thing. And then after that, it's going to get a little tricky. But let's talk about the real thing about DC, which I'm not a really big fan of DC. I am a Marvel fanboy, but not a Marvel fanboy in the last 20 years, maybe even 30 years. I like some of the movies, but anyway, let's stay on point. We got to deal with all of these families. And what are you talking about? Families? Yeah. Okay. So Marvel Rivals has 33 characters, 32, just to really compete against Overwatch out the gate. So I see that as a problem from DC, especially since a lot of people don't know. Even after the Justice League, a lot of people don't even have a connection to some of these characters or their storylines. So let's go ahead and show you the first family. And here we are. We're starting off with the worst one of them all, and that's the Batman family. Batman, Robin, Batwoman, Batgirl, Red Wing, Red Hood, Nightwing, so forth and so on. There's even I believe a black character named Batwing or something like that. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But let's be real. DC fans and DC fanboys love Batman. It's pretty much their cash cow. So you're just going to be inundated by Batman, 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 and of course his villains. I'll get there yet, but I'm not done yet. Batman, 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 and guess what? Special skins of Batman. Anyway, let's go to the next family. Well, I didn't even talk about what his moveset would be. I guess it would be more like a Moon Knight kind of character, and all of his other clones of him. Let's go to the next family. Next up is the all-powerful, the almighty Superman and his family. You got Superman, Supergirl, Superwoman, Superboy. You got Steel. You got the other black Superman. I forgot his name or whatever. And there's Cyborg Superman. There's Bizarro Superman. And what was his playstyle would be like? Basically God. And the only way to fight Superman would be kryptonite. So I guess you would have to have Lex Luthor and maybe Doomsday. And I heard his other weakness is magic. So I guess you could use those two, but he could fly and be pretty much invulnerable to everything. So that'll be a lot of fun to kind of balance out. Because if you take one power away, what are you going to do with the rest? Let's move on to the next family. Next up, from the fathoms deep below, is Aquaman and Myrna and Aqualad and Tempest and Black Manta and Ocean Master. So you have the whole Aquaman clan, if you will. And of course, they're going to do the Jason Momoa skin. Then you got to do the Aquaman when he had the Captain Hook hand, and you got to do the 2 versions of the black Aqualad, including the Aqualad that's also white. So there's like 3 there. But anyway, what would his playstyle be? I guess pretty much like Namor the Submariner. I guess maybe he will control water a little bit more and call on his aqua friends of fish and giant crustaceans and a kraken. Maybe that would be kind of cool. Next up is the one and the only The Flash. He goes everywhere super fast. He would be incredibly agile to use. I mean, he would just zip around and just kill, go through walls, go through anything. You couldn't shoot him. You couldn't stop him. He would be amazing. Then you have all of his Flash friends. You got Kid Flash. You got Impulse. I can't even keep up at this pace. You got, what is his name? Mercury Morris. You got all these other Flash. You got Classic Flash, but you got a lot of Flashes. A lot of Flashes to be flashed. Don't forget Dr. Zoom, the Enemy, and stuff like that. But what would his playstyle be? I guess he would just be the fastest thing. If he ever slows down, I guess he could run out of stamina. But I guess he would just punch. He would be kind of like, I guess, like Iron Fist with his punches, maybe some kicks and speed off and that sort of thing. But very hard to kill, I guess. You would make him very squishy. But other than that, yeah, man, lots of Flashes. Next family. You know what? It's kind of dark in here. I can't see what's going. If I only had a lantern. Oh, a Green Lantern. Yes, Green Lantern family. You got Guy Gardner. You got John Stewart. You got Hal Jordan. I can't remember. What is his name? Kyle something? Rayner? Something like that. Anyway, yeah, Green Lantern. What would their playstyle be? I guess since they can fly, probably more like Iron Man, I guess. But wouldn't they all pretty much do that? But they can also construct things like, I don't know, guns, bats, walls. They could do just about anything. So that would be a lot of fun to figure out exactly what they do, or maybe each Green Lantern will do something different. There's a nice mechanic for you, but still Green Lantern. And yes, I know this is being stretched out, but I really want to show you what DC is really about. It's about family, Next one. The original marksman, the one who never misses. We're talking about Green Arrow. Got to keep that green. And don't forget Speedy, Black Canary. I was going to say Songbird. That's Marvel. Black Canary, Cheshire, I believe, Arsenal, and I don't know the rest of those people. Anyway, they're all part of the family of that. They mostly use bows and arrows and crossbows. You could even probably throw in Huntress in there, even though I think she's more of with Batman, I guess. I can't keep it straight. But anyway, play style, pretty obvious. Hawkeye. And there would be snipers, trick arrows. In fact, he's the original, I would say, trick arrow user and that sort of thing. Let's go to the next family. Instead of boys to men, we've got kids to adults, and we're talking about Shazam. Yeah, kids, and I guess their playstyle would be kind of like the Hulk. And what would their powers be? Oh, just think of Superman. And what are their enemy is? Black Adam, who also plays like who? Superman. Oh, wow. But they use magic and that sort of thing. So you got 7. Each one does something. You see, Shazam is an acronym and they all mean something different. I've never liked Shazam at all. It's just another Superman clone. And then he's got a Superman family. But like I said, it's about family. Let's move on to the next family. There's really not too much more to say about that. So now it's time for the Amazons. We're talking about none other than Wonder Woman, Prince Diana, Diana Troy, and what else? There's Big Barda, there's Nubia, there's Amazonia, I believe. I can't remember all of their names. But how would they play? I guess kind of like Magic, but without the teleport. You know, some weapon base. Some could use axes. Some could use a sword. Some could use dual swords. Wonder Woman herself would just use her fist and her lasso that she could wrap people up like Spider-Man. So there you have it. Yeah, who would have thought? A Wonder Woman family. But there you go. There's a lot more clones of them. And let's talk about the villains. I haven't talked about any villains yet. Like Cheetah, who seems like a villain for Flash, but is not. She's a villain for Wonder Woman. Yeah, that makes sense. Or Gorilla Grodd, a telepathic gorilla who should be fighting someone like Batman, but instead Gorilla Grodd is a villain for the Flash. A gorilla. Then you got Lex Luthor. Of course, now he's got his cyber suit. You got, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy. Trust me, the villains, Solomon Grundy, Darkseid. I mentioned Doomsday. There's Black Adam, Black Manta. If you notice, Captain Cold, I believe Mr. Freeze as well. But have you ever noticed that most of the villains do the same thing that the main character does? Like, for example, Superman, and of course you got Bizarro Superman, and you got like a character like what I just talked about earlier, Black Adam. But yes, Darkseid is different. Yes, Doomsday is different. But then you got Sinestro. And of course you got the Joker. You got to have him, even though I don't know what would he be like. He would have to be some kind of like strategy healer, whatever crazy thing. I'm sure his super would be madness, where everybody just starts laughing. I know, sounds incredible. Actually, it does sound kind of fun. But anyway, it wouldn't be as compelling as you think. It sounds good, but really, how long? I shouldn't have said how long it's going to be. I was going to say how much variety would we actually get in the DC Rivals type of universe. Now, I typed in what is the most popular groups, for DC. And of course, it's the Justice League. And of course, there's other characters I haven't mentioned, like Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Zatanna. There's Constantine. There's Firestorm, which I love. There's like two versions of him. He's got an enemy called Deathstorm. That's pretty cool. But yeah, the number 2, believe it or not, was my favorite, is Teen Titans. I absolutely love Teen Titans. Teen Titans to me is the perfect group of heroes kind of band together out of everybody, out of the Avengers, out of the X-Men, out of the Justice League. I know that sounds weird, but it just goes with my personal sensibilities, and I'll probably make a video on them. But I love the Teen Titans over the Justice League, over Justice League Dark and all the other teams and all this other stuff. But that's for another story. But yes, they would be included in Rivals, and I would be fantastic. The number 3 pick that was most popular was Suicide Squad, where you have, of course, Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang and King Shark. And you know what? I didn't bring up Deathstroke or Slade. I didn't bring him up, but yeah, they would be great characters as well. So there you have it. I mean, I know it's personal opinion, but DC has a lot of clone characters, more so to me than Marvel. And it's a much more recently, in the last, I think, 15 years, is much more. But let's see, there's been a decade of Marvel movies. Let's say in the last 20 years, of DC standing for depressing comics. And it's just not that hopeful, energetic, inspiring, and that sort of thing. And yeah, the reverence for the characters are just not the same. To me, DC is good for when you're like a child and you want all powerful, or you have characters that are just kind of street level but don't really make an impact. So let's not forget Batman, 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 because as soon as the first 2 seasons come out, they're just going to flood you with like the Penguin and Bane and more just Batman characters, because that's pretty much what DC is about, is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. It's not until recently that they even got into the Flash. We got some other things, they recently just, I would say in the 90s discovered, I shouldn't even say the 90s, the 2000s, where they discovered Teen Titans. So anyway, that is basically it. No DC rivals and on the salty Mike Ybarra being mad at Marvel rivals. Thanks for listening. This is Rasuke.